I'm Don Blue. I'm here with Mark. And what are we doing today?
We are having our little mini watch party of the Restored Church of God open house. They opened the campus up to the local Wadsworth community. They sent 2 paid email blasts to the Wadsworth City Chamber of Commerce, but they also went on Facebook and 2 private Facebook groups for the community of Wadsworth, Ohio, and invited all citizens to come and view the campus. As of a few days ago, Bradford Schleifer, he's the number 2 at Restored Church of God, announced on Facebook that they had 115 people who said they wanted to attend, and that's a pretty good turnout for them, considering they probably haven't reached all of the 24,000 citizens of Wadsworth. I mean, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So we're watching people here at the Giant Eagle. Looks like they just kind of be driving by and going very well. Have just been folks who said, "Hey, I don't have a ticket, but I'd like to come." And of course, they're going to invite everybody in because that helps.
So, are they how do you think they're checking people in?
They set up the event through Eventbrite tickets, and I'm sure they have a master list with people's names as well as how many people.
Okay.
And the people, if they have their tickets, great. It has a little barcode on it. But if not, they'll probably just check their name. They're on the list. Okay. Or, hey, I was shopping at Giant Eagle. Can I come? Of course, they're going to say yes at this point. I think pretty much anybody can get in. But I think the reason for having the names and sign up and email is so that they could get a tally of people who want to come. There was no nefarious reason like, oh, they want to mine your data or they're going to try to convert people. That's not what this is about. This is a, hey, community, look at our beautiful campus. This is what we want to present to you that we're doing. And come and look at all the great stuff. And that's basically what it is.
So, do you think that it is a PR stunt or genuine?
Well, it depends on what you mean by genuine. They genuinely want a good opinion from the people of Wadsworth, but it is technically public relations. I think there's a genuine desire on their part to want to have goodwill with the community because the well has been poisoned, you could say, or soured at least, because of troublemakers like you, Don Blue, and myself for having my website, exrcg.org, that repeatedly reports on the happenings of what David C. Pack teaches.
So I'm going to rewind and explain that last year in the spring, I saw Mark post on social media and he was willing to answer questions, and I contacted him.
Just go.
There's people. Anyways, so there was a lot of rumors, speculations, crazy stuff. So I asked Mark if he'd be willing to do an interview to, get a lot of that out of the way. And he did.
You were on a fact-finding mission.
Yes.
I was the first person in the Wadsworth community to tell everybody publicly, I am a former member, former employee, because I knew the rumors out there, and a lot of the things I would read on Facebook, I had firsthand knowledge that it wasn't true. There's no armory, there's no armed guards. Some of the rumors were quite interesting. Oh, my cousin delivered this and he saw this, and it's like, yeah, come forward, I'd like to talk to them. Nobody ever did. So I wanted to dispel the rumors. It wasn't about bashing RCG, taking them down, and especially a year ago that wasn't on my mind. It was just a matter of, hey, I'll come and answer questions, and then I get a message from Don Blue that very weekend.
And so it was nice that we were able to do that, but that's when we were able to get into a lot of what makes RCG different. And that eventually led to Mark doing a blog. Way before I stepped in the picture and way before Mark came forward, there have been numerous podcasts, blogs, websites that reference RCG all the time in regards to their tactics and how they treat their members and the things that they believe in. Everyone is entitled to their own belief, but what we have brought forward is documentable. It is all on video from David C. Pack.
Transcripts.
He makes them live to his people and then sends them out because he has members all over the world. So everything comes from his mouth or is documented on paper. So nothing has come out that we're making up. The issues that have been brought to the attention is in the beginning, basically the common, getting money from people to maintain this beautiful property, but it's called Give All. You want to elaborate real quick?
Sure. In the book of Acts, the very beginning when the church was founded, all the brethren gave all that they had so that those that were without, that had need, could be sustained. This was a measure to when the church, the New Testament church, was established after Jesus Christ had ascended to heaven. David C. Pack has taken that phrase, common, and used that into you sell all now. So if you have a retirement account, if you've saved up for your children's inheritance, if you have inheritance from your parents, if you have spare homes, or let's say a boat or an airplane, you are expected to sell those things and give the money to the church. And that is the reason this beautiful campus even exists today, and all the properties along 261 and Hartman Road that the church owns, they were able to do that because of common. As Dave Pack said once, it's a game changer. And so it's not just tithes and offerings, it's your salvation is tied to this if you don't send in your money. And then I struggled with this because you have to weigh between being wise and having a savings account or saving for a rainy day. We're not supposed to tempt God. We're supposed to be wise stewards of the resources we have. But also on the flip side, how much can you sacrifice for the sake of the church?
Also in regards to that, they don't really participate in the community, especially financially wise. We had another former member come forward, Jessica Brown, and she spoke of when she ran on hard times, asked for assistance from the church, and they basically deemed her unworthy and wouldn't even give her a loan. Loan.
She asked for what's called third tithe assistance. There's the first tithe, second tithe, and third tithe. Third tithe is deemed in the Old Testament for the widow, the stranger, and the Levite. And sometimes members who are in financial struggle can ask the church for a loan. It's not like, give me the money, I'll never pay it back. It's, can I please have some money to get through a rough time and I'll pay you back. And the Bible even talks about borrowing against your tithe and returning 10% interest. She was willing to do that and she was still denied. And I also just recently heard of another brethren who gave money in common, then was stricken with some health problems and a lot of health bills, asked for some of the money back from the Restored Church of God, and they denied them. I haven't reported about that. I just heard about it. I haven't talked to the people involved, but just that concept is a pattern that I have heard and been able to confirm with other stories.
Okay, and then another one is about the children. I will have Mark explain that because he is able to explain it in more proper detail so I don't get anything wrong.
If you're talking about the children...
Kicking them out.
Oh, okay. Well, there's two folds to that story. Kenneth M. Orrell, one of the ministers who was laid off here recently from the Restored Church of God and, quote, being sent into the field, he gave a sermon that he was the director of the Ambassador Youth Camp, which I happen to have a t-shirt of. I had these t-shirts for years in my drawer and thought, what a perfect occasion for Don Blue and I to wear them publicly. Well, Ken was getting upset because a lot of teens, the pattern in the Restored Church of God is teens get old enough to not come to services and they bail on the Restored Church of God. It's because the teens know that David C. Pack is a false prophet. He sets dates for the return of Jesus Christ. He set 59 dates between, I'm going to use the Hebrew months, Tammuz 1 last year and Tammuz 1 this year. It's about June-ish. 59 failed dates for the return of Jesus Christ or the kingdom of God or the man of sin or whatever he's preaching. Those teens see that, they turn 18 or 17 or whatever age it is that they feel that they're adults and say, I don't want to do this anymore, and they stop attending. One of the ministers of the Restored Church of God, he counseled a parent to kick their kids out of the house. When the kids say, hey, I don't want to be in Restored anymore, it's like, okay, good, I'll help you pack your suitcase and kick your kids out.
So we're talking about kids that are under 18?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It could be 17, could be 18. I don't know. It wasn't specific, and I didn't get in touch with the person that Ken relayed that story. Actually, he was proud of it, that this man was so full of faith that he told his son, here, I'll help you pack. It's like, well, okay, so now you have teenagers who don't believe in Restored but are afraid, so they stay attending, pretending to be there because they don't want to be homeless. So that does not create a place of trust, nor does it engender the children to see, oh, this is the Church of God and I should stay here because the doctrines are wonderful and everybody is so loving. The other children thing that came up more recently was that David C. Pack was explaining that the children, he said the young people, and I don't know if it's like little kids or teenagers, he wasn't specific, that the young people in the Restored Church of God were not going to be protected by God within the few weeks back then, and they were going to be torn apart and eaten by lions.
What?
They were going to be torn apart and eaten by lions. It's on the website, it's on YouTube. He really said that.
Oh my
He
God.
was taking verses from the Old Testament and applying it to the young, quote, the young people in the Restored Church of God. And he knows who they are because he sees the way they slouch in their chairs, and they, he mocked them. He actually mocked them and made faces, and they're like this and that. But yet he says he's a loving shepherd. So that's twice that even the young people, let's just say young people, in the Restored Church of God have a reason to fear and a reason to not trust the leadership.
The last topic that I will bring up, because there's tons, I'm just trying to get the main ones, is in regards to, so everybody can have an opinion on the things that we just discussed, but one of them, I believe all Christians, anybody of faith, will have an issue with, is that he considers himself a prophet. Not only does he set dates, but he sets specific times. Can you explain that real quick?
Sure. As recently as June 6th, David C. Pack had explained to the members of the Restored Church of God that the only way that he could know and do the things that he's doing, it means that he has to be a prophet and that he has to be Elijah now. If you go to the exrcg.org website, there's also a YouTube channel. People can confirm that what I'm saying is not made up. It's literally, that's the type of things he says. But he has also been setting dates since 2013 for the return of Jesus Christ. Oh, it's going to happen on this Friday at sunset. It's going to happen at sunrise in Jerusalem on this day. It's all documented on the website, and that's why I can say he set 59 dates in a 12-month period, because those were all documented dates where he said Jesus Christ is going to return. Like, in fact, Friday night, this shouldn't have happened. Like, this open house happening right now, according to David C. Pack, shouldn't have even happened. He said something about it's not just going to be an open house, it's going to be an open world. Because
so we're alive and the world didn't end.
Right, and Dave Pack is not on top of the world preaching to the whole world at this very minute. So if any people happen to go into this open house, it would be really interesting and amusing for them, but who knows what they know. Hey, I heard that Christ was supposed to return on Friday night and that didn't happen. Doesn't that make him a false prophet?
But he also predicted King Charles wouldn't be king.
He's predicted a lot of things and said that Prince Charles would never be crowned as king. And that's, yeah. If you go to exrcg.org, there is a long, long history. I'm up to 190 articles reporting on the goings-on of the Restored Church of God. And that's since of March of last year when I started writing.
So I'm going to assume that a lot of viewers aren't going to understand why it is a big deal for a pastor to pretend to be an Elijah and bring dates up. So for somebody say that doesn't understand that or doesn't go to church, why is that a big deal?
The Bible, both in the Old Testament and New Testament, warn about false prophets in the last times. Now, whether you want to say this is the last times or not, that's a personal belief. But the Old Testament warns about how will you know, in Deuteronomy 18, how will we know whether or not a prophet comes in the name of the Lord? And God told Moses, if they give you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or a wonder come not to pass, be not afraid of them. David C. Pack, by declaring that Jesus Christ would come, it's a sign or a wonder. And then it didn't come to pass. So the Old Testament confirms that he's a false prophet. But Paul also talked about in the New Testament many times about wolves who come in sheep clothing, bringing, there's damnable heresies, I believe in Jude. There's a lot of warnings about false teachers and false prophets in the New Testament. David C. Pack has documentedly proven, by definition, that he is a false prophet and he is a false teacher. But he always has, he has the most wonderful excuses. Oh, well, this and that and this mistranslation. And, then he blames God. Well, God wanted us to get it wrong so that someday we could be right. And God wanted to find out who was going to leave because, they don't care about truth, or, whose faith was going to, be shaken. It's like, it's as if all, let's see, that was 10 years. So now over 10 years of failed prophecies is somehow God testing his people. And I have written that that is not a God that I would want to worship. And I pray and hope that the people in there wake up and get away from there, because the man is not of God. David C. Pack is not of God.
So can you elaborate on, in reading a lot of the comments, there was a post that was done on Facebook, Wadsworth Neighbors, and it was in regards to our tickets being taken away.
Which were taken away last year without notice. We did a whole interview on that. That's on the WCTV website.
There was a lot on both sides, and that's completely understandable. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. A lot of people wondered why it was even a big deal. People were, calling them a cult and this and that. I will state, as in everything that I have researched and I have gone through, I do not have the authority to call this organization a cult. That is led to the experts, which there are actual experts that can go to court, a court of law, and lay out why an establishment is a cult. All I can say is that David C. Pack is I guess you would say, an authoritarian leader, and a lot of that we brought out in this is education, especially for the public and former members. Worldwide Church of God started with Herbert W. Armstrong, and that's where a lot of RCG's teachings come from. David just kind of changed the book covers and some of the wording and made it his own.
But he does acknowledge Herbert W. Armstrong as his father in the gospel, and that the Restored Church of God is a continuation of the Worldwide Church of God. So it's when he rewrote the literature, it wasn't because he was plagiarizing. He rewrote the literature to update it and legally use it for the Restored Church of God.
So, Restored Church of God, and there's several others. Philadelphia
Church of God, Living Church of God, United Church of God Worldwide. There's a lot. There's hundreds, apparently, groups that range from tens of thousands to a few dozen.
So there's what they call splinter churches. Not all are like this. No, not all are like this. A lot of them are pretty laxed. And there's some, I think the Philadelphia one is just about...
They're more strict than Restored. They don't have common. Gerald Flurry does not have common, but a lot of the doctrines, funny enough, Dave Pack used to criticize Gerald Flurry for how he treated the brethren, and now Dave Pack over time has become more and more like Gerald Flurry.
Okay. What was your reasoning behind the website that you started? A lot of people are wondering why.
Yeah.
Are you just a angry ex-member employee?
I'm so bitter and angry. I'm gonna get that guy. No.
But I also want to state what some people don't know is that there is a private Facebook group of many of the former members and employees that.
There's Dave right there.
Oh, there's Dave.
Grandpa Dave.
There he is. There you go. They're all cheering. Well done.
Boy.
Anyways.
I'm amazed because he normally doesn't step foot off the campus.
So there is a lot of former members that support each other. People wonder why people stay in a church like this or organization. All I can say is imagine yourself in a very unhealthy relationship and you wonder why a lot of people stay. It's something personal to them. And a lot of them support each other because everybody goes through something different. Marc's blog, while it educates the public and other people of maybe other splinters, it really helps get out to former members and current members, a lot of current members that have become former members, to help them understand and know that there's people on the outside.
Right, we're not all antichrist wanting to murder them and steal their crown. It's more about education and letting people know, hey, you're not alone, you're not crazy. Because I've had people contact me who leave and thought for a long time they must be faithless, God is not working with them, they're like, I must be stupid because this doesn't make sense to me, I can't prove this from my Bible. And the reason for the blog was to have a consolidated place of information that were specific to the Restored Church of God. There are other blogs and websites out there that are about the, quote, Church of God landscape publicly from various different organizations, but I chose specifically to focus on Restored only because that's the church I had experience with. I was a member from July of 2012 until March of 2021. I was a headquarters employee in Wadsworth, Ohio from December of 2012 to March of 2021. I know a lot of the players. I've had personal interactions with David C. Pack and personal interactions with Brad Schleifer, and I know the ministers, or at least the ones that were there. There's new people that have come in that I don't know. But I know who all these people are, and I know what they're about. And so I wanted to have one place of information for people to be able to come and just learn about Restored. And that's why my website is small, my traffic is small, because it's a very niche group. However, it's been highly effective because I've had people leave saying, I read your blog for months and now I just left and thank you so much. Or I get people who write me and say, I'm a current member, can we get on the phone and talk? I want to do this like off the record. And I said, absolutely. And I never talk about it.
Woo, that's a
nice,
fancy
yeah,
vehicle.
nice.
It says, look at that.
Boy, that's common walking in the door if Dave can get his hands on it.
Driving by looking at me like we're homeless people on the corner or what's going on.
They recognize us, or like, why are these people sitting out there?
I've never sat on a corner in my life, just so you know.
Yeah, I have not. Are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Since I left in March of 2021, I have not set one solitary foot on their property. The sidewalk across the street, from my understanding, is public property right up to the front gate, and we're not there. We are across the street in the Giant Eagle parking lot. I bought items. I have receipts. I'm a paying customer. We're on a public sidewalk just across the street.
I'm picking up my medicine later, so I'm a paying customer.
So we want to do this completely legitimately. We are not here to harass, to protest, to obstruct. There's a Montville police officer sitting across the street, probably to keep an eye on traffic. I don't assume that that's to keep out bad people. But yeah, we're just here to observe and, post about it on the website.
It is very warm out here, I will say that.
It's pretty warm, but it's breezy, and now we have a little bit of cloudy overcast.
Yeah, so
I'm sure people are excited to hear
you see us out here. We are not asking for money. We don't have a tent.
No.
I'm just reporting.
We have our first exit of guests.
The exit, like your church?
Well, they've seen what they need to see.
Oh. Well, that's it for now. I'll report back later.